Okay, happy Friday, everybody. Let's go back. We're going to do a little bit of work on our unit circle. Okay, so yesterday I gave you all of the coordinates, and if you're not here yesterday and you need the coordinates, you probably want to take a picture of this and add this, but you're going to need your unit circle, okay? So, we can do trigonometry from the unit circle. Okay, so what I want to do first is show you something. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a triangle, a right triangle, okay? In a right triangle, we've got an angle, and we know that we've got an opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. We know that. We know in our circle, our unit circle, a couple of things. First of all, it's called the unit circle because the radius is 1. Which means this length is 1. Well, there's a invisible triangle all throughout the triangle. All throughout the circle, there's a triangle here, there's a triangle here, there's all these invisible triangles. Now what we know about our triangles is the opposite is the same as the y value, and the adjacent is the same as the x value. The hypotenuse is 1. Okay, we know that because every point has some x, y value. So the y value is up, the x value is your over, and your radius is 1. So if that's the case, it turns out that since the sine of any function is the opposite over the hypotenuse, it's just going to be the y value of your coordinate. Cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, is actually the x value over your hypotenuse, which is 1, which is just your x value. Now the tangent is your opposite over your adjacent, which is your y over your x. Okay? Now, if that's the case, then we can do, without a calculator, we're going to do this with the unit circle, the sine of 30. Okay, so what we want to do the sine of 30, sine is the y value. So we're going to find 30 degrees, and we're going to get the y value. It's this easy. 30 degrees. Every point has an x and a y, x and a y. The y value is 1/2. That is the answer. Sine is the y value at 30 degrees. The answer is 1/2. Go to 30 degrees. It is the y value at 30 degrees, the y value, which is 1/2. Okay? Cosine. Cosine is the x value. So let's go to 45 degrees. Here's 45 degrees. And find the x value. There's the x value. The x value is square root of 2 over 2. That's that easy, okay? So you go to 45 degrees, look at your point, x, y, it's the x value, okay? Tangent. Now tangent's going to be the y over the x. So my tangent, go to 150 degrees, right there, it's going to be my y over my x. So it's going to be my y value over my x value. So go to 150 degrees. 150 degrees is here. My y value of my coordinate is 1/2. My x value is square root of 3 over 2. So we're going to make that a 1/2 over negative square root of 3 over 2. All right, well that needs to be simplified because I know take a fraction divided by a fraction. That same thing as invert and multiply. So I'm going to take my fraction, I'm going to invert and multiply. I just took and flipped that. My 2's cancel. I'm left with 1 over negative square root of 3. I know that I can rationalize this by multiplying by square root of 3, square root of 3, and I get an answer of square root of 3 over negative 3. Now that's a lot of work. So what I've done to make this easier is we really have the sine values on our circle. We have the cosine values. So let's put the tangent. So I'm going to put the tangent values. on the outside to make it easier for us. Okay, so here's what we just found out. We know that tangent of 150 degrees is square root of 3. So we're going to make it I'm going to put it on the outside, negative square root of 3 over 3. So get out your unit circle, and we're going to add. So in blue, we're putting tangent values in blue. For me, I'm doing blue. I mean, I don't know what color you're going to do it in, but I'm going to do it in blue, okay? So let's add all of them. So it turns out at 30 degrees, we'll have the same answer, but not negative. So we'll have at 30 degrees, the tangent value is square root of 3 over 3. Now the reason we're doing this is because I don't want to have to do all of this work every time. It's too much work. I know at 330 degrees, it's the same exact ratio. It's going to be negative 1/2 or square root of 3 over 2, which is going to be a negative square root of 3 over 3. All right. I also know at 210 degrees, we have the exact same thing, but it's a negative divided by negative. Negative divided by negative, the tangent value is a positive square root of 3 over 3. Okay, now there's other angles I'd like to find, okay? So let's find some of the easy ones, okay? Now tangent is the y over the x. So at 0, the tangent value is just 0 over 1, which is 0, okay? So the tangent of 0 is 0. The tangent of 180 is 0 over negative 1, which is 0. So the tangent of 180 is also 0. Let's go to 45. So the tangent of 45 is square root of 2 over square root of 2 over square root of 2 over 2, which is just 1. Something divided by itself is just 1. So the tangent of 45 is 1. Let's shift over here to 135 degrees. Square root of 2 over 2 divided by negative square root of 2 over 2 is just negative 1. So the tangent of 135 degrees is just negative 1. Let's shift down to 225. Negative divided by negative is a positive, so that's going to be a positive 1. So the tangent of 225 degrees is positive 1. If I'm going too fast, ask the sub to pause the video. Let's go to 315 degrees. Negative square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2 is just a negative 1. So the tangent of 315 is negative 1. Okay. Now, let's add in this one, 60 degrees. So 60 degrees is going to be the square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, which is just the square root of 3, because the 1/2s will cancel when you divide it. Same is true at 120 degrees, except for it's going to be a negative, because you got a negative. So square root of 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2 is going to be a negative square root of 3. So the tangent value of 120 degrees is negative 3. We've got the same thing down here at 240 degrees. If it's a negative divided by negative, which makes it a positive square root of 3. So the tangent of 240 degrees is square root of 3. And then over at 300 degrees, we'll have a negative square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 is just a negative square root of 3, because the 1/2s will cancel when you divide. Now, here's the weird ones. You can't divide by 0. Cookie Monster's sad. So if you go 1 divided by 0, you can't divide by 0. So at 90, tangent is undefined. So on blue, I'm going to write undefined. Okay? So tangent at 90 is undefined. In fact, I'll even show you on the calculator if you're just curious, but the calculator will not lie to me. I'll show you. Okay? Check it out. If you try and go tangent of 90, domain error. Doesn't like it at all, okay? And the same is true at 270 degrees. You'll go negative 1 divided by 0. You can't divide by 0, so down here at 270 is also undefined. Okay? So now, our circle is complete for everything we need. So let's go back to our notes. All of our answers for notes are here. They are. So, all right. Sine of 60. Well, sine of 60 is the same thing as sine of 300 degrees, right? Because you've got 360 and a minus 60. So, sine of 300. Let's use our circle. Go to 300 degrees and find the y value. Y value, because sine is the y value. So go to 300 degrees. What's the y value? 300 degrees, the y value is negative square root of 3 over 2. That is the answer. Okay. Cosine of 420, I got to go around the circle more than once. So 420 degrees is 360 plus 60, okay? It really is. So, okay, 420 is the same thing as 360 plus 60. So I go 360 is 1, and then another 60 puts me here. So I'm really looking for 60 degrees, and I want the x value. I want the x value because cosine is the x value. So let's go to 60 degrees, and the x value is 1/2. Go to 60 degrees, x value is 1/2. Tangent 90, we just did our tangents. Go to 90 degrees, and oh, can't do it, right? Tangent 90, I got my tangents 1 over 0 is undefined. Now we can also do our trigonometry with radians. Okay? So we're just going to find pi fourths. We're looking for the y value for sine. So pi fourths is there, and the y value is square root of 2 over 2. That's my answer. Go to pi fourths, y value, square root of 2 over 2. Cosine is the x value. Cosine is the x value. 2 pi thirds is on my circle. It's right there. There's 2 pi thirds radians. I want the x value, which is negative 1/2, because every point, if you haven't figured this out, every point is some x comma y, right? So I want the x value at 2 pi thirds, which is negative 1/2. Okay, tangent of 5 pi fourths. All my tangent answers are on the outside in blue. For me, they're in blue. 5 pi fourths is there. My tangent values are the answers on blue, so my tangent of 5 pi fourths is 1. Okay. Sine of pi. Sine is the y value, so we're going to go and use the y value. I want the sine, so I go to pi. I want the y value. Y value at this point is 0. Now, negative pi thirds. I'm looking for an x value. So if pi thirds is this much, but I want negative, I'm just going to go backwards. Okay, pi thirds, negative pi thirds. Okay, pi thirds, I rotate here to pi thirds. Negative pi thirds would just be going backwards, like a backwards rotation. I'm looking for the x value at that point, which is 1/2. Okay? Tangent, a tangent of my blue values of negative pi fourths. So pi fourths, regular pi fourths is here, pi fourths. But I want a negative, so I go rotate backwards. I go negative angles, so I'll rotate to here. That's negative pi fourths is at 7 pi fourths. And the tangent value, which is in blue, is negative 1. Okay, so that's it. I have a homework sheet for you to do. I want you to work on your homework. It's a homework sheet. And then when you're done, work on your towers. Okay, and I'll see everybody on Monday. Be nice to the substitute, please. Be polite, gentlemanly like.